Welcome to You've Got a Thing, an
Yeah.
interview thing about Milwaukee theater things. I'm Jamie Lynn Gray. I am the, producer of this shindig. And with us today is Susan Scott Fry of Optimist Theater. She will be hosting. We're just sort of hanging out for a few minutes here because our magnifique guest with the most today, Patrick Schmitz of Schmitz and Giggles, which name just makes me giggle.
Makes me happy.
It just puts a smile on your face. He teaches during the day. That is his day gig. And so he's going to get a break here in a few minutes. But, wanted to start on time at the very least, because I'm weird and consistent like that.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't belong in theater.
People always ask, that thing that you get, if you weren't X, then what would you be?
Yeah.
Mine is stage manager. It's absolutely 100% stage manager.
Yeah, I get that all the time because, that is what I do. Is just kind of keep the trains running on time and blah, blah, blah. But when people say that to me, I go, but I want to be an artist.
But I am an actor. I
don't want to be organized.
Organization isn't fun.
No, it's not fun.
Organization isn't.
It's poopy.
It's poopy. Did you want to say anything about that little bit of information?
Yeah, we have an update. We actually have an air date, our first air date for Pericles, Prince of Tyre, our serialization, our serial killing of this.
No Holds Barred. It's
No Holds Barred, noholdsbarred.org, and the press release is about to go out. And Wednesday, January 13th at 7:30 p.m. That's when it's going to happen. That's when the first 2 episodes. I'm not sure who's going to host yet. We'll find somebody.
Mark your calendars.
Mark your calendars, and we'll, send out all kinds of reminders.
So where are you putting that to? What's your main doodad? Are you doing the YouTube? Are you doing the?
It'll end up living on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're going to do restream. So we'll simul stream to a variety of different platforms because people connect in different ways. Yeah. So tune in with whatever you're familiar and comfortable with, because with Restream, you can pick up to 20 different platforms. I might not pick the platform that usually streams like video games and stuff. Maybe that won't be the right one, but I'll pick some other. So.
Oh, the nerdy things producers have to go through to make this stuff happen.
Right.
What a bunch of
And yet, everybody that you talk to is like, oh yes, my favorites are.
Yeah.
Because we have them now.
Yeah. We're all nerds now. This pandemic has all made us all kinds of nerdy just for practical purposes.
Yeah. It's like, well, I like Zoom because it's got that special feature that makes your skin look better. And I like whatever. And I don't like Discord because it keeps kicking me off, but you can create those different rooms for breakout sessions so much easier. And blah, blah, blah.
I'm so sorry. I just made a really loud noise with my pens here. I've got these doodads that it's actually for. Oh, I don't have the thing. I used to be really big into calligraphy when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for some reason I got up my tush here this Christmas to send out some cards, and I wanted to do some calligraphy on them. So I'm sending cards to family members with really poor calligraphy, really poor Gothic calligraphy, if you want to be specific. But now they come in like, where you can pop cartridges in them, and you just do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody gives a crap about my calligraphy skills because Patrick Schmitz is here. Huzzah, huzzah.
Huzzah, huzzah. Hello.
Yay.
Hello.
If it wasn't Patrick, I totally wouldn't do the Muppet wave. No, I would.
Well, that's also the hearing, the
oh yeah, clapping.
Yeah, clapping. The International American Sign Language symbol.
Well, if anybody should be clapped at, it should be Patrick Schmitz.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yay. Yay. Hello. How are you?
You look like you're tuning in from being a teacher.
Yes. This is my lunch break. So I am, it's Spirit Week, but I think I had the day wrong. We're supposed to be all Christmas and Santa Claus dressed up, and I just wore brown deer gear to be safe. So you can't go wrong with supporting the school, though, right? You can't go wrong.
Communication is still flowing really, really super smoothly, just like always, like before.
Absolutely. Yep. Checking my emails at least once a week, once a month.
You're feeling totally supported and clear on everything you're supposed to be accomplishing. I am not surprised. I'm not surprised.
But I do have to say, we did put some reindeer ears on your head with the social medias, and I think it looked really super cute, and I think it might have served you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the antlers help bring out the eyes.
You actually have them in your pocket, don't you?
I was gonna bring there in my car. I was like, oh, I could wear that for and then I forgot. Whatever. I could have used it for the Christmas Spirit Week, but could have been two birds, one stone.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're allowed. One, you're a school teacher, which we've already established, but two, you've got a thing.
Yes.
There is a thing.
Yes.
I'm going to leave you all to talk about
All right.
I'll be back later.
What a coincidence that both of the cameos are here in the room. Are we keeping that a secret? No. We're not keeping it a secret, are we?
I have a cameo, and Jamie.
Okay.
Yeah, this is total nepotism. We don't really care.
Set it up.
We just care that people get to see us for 20 nanoseconds.
Yeah.
That's why I'm tuning in.
Right. It's just a little walk-on roll, but hey, it's a roll nonetheless. Here in the credits. Yeah.
There are no small parts, except for mine.
Well, right.
Tell us about your thing.
Okay, so it is 8 Tiny Reindeer. It's a dark comedy. It's recommended for 13 and up. It's one of those whodunits where the reindeer team, they're dying off one at a time, and you're trying to figure out who exactly is the killer, which has always been a formula I've loved, even as a kid. The movie Clue, I saw, and then there were none. Agatha Christie's play at a young age. My brother was in it in high school, so I went and saw that, and I just loved that. Just that formula of, who is it? The movie Scream was a lot of fun. I saw that when I senior in high school. Mm-hmm. So I've always wanted to write one. I always thought, that must be quite a challenge to write that. So as I was writing it, I was seeing a lot of different ways to approach it. Like a lot of people were like, oh, you can't just jump into something like that. You got to have everything mapped out so you know exactly what you're doing and what you're not doing, where you're leading people and where you're misleading people. I was like, I don't know. Then I saw one interview where they're like, I just jumped in. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do that because that's how I like to write. Mm-hmm. But
You don't outline the whole plot. You don't have your beginning, middle, and end. You don't start from the end and work your way, blah, blah, blah.
Nope. No. Which is a lot more time consuming, I've realized, because I'll write a first draft and then I write like 70 more drafts after that because I keep going back. So maybe it'd be better to know what I'm doing, but I think it comes from my improv background where I like to just constantly be present in the moment. But yeah, so our show opens tonight, 7:30, and then we have 2 shows tomorrow, 2 p.m. and a 7:30 as well. Same show, but different cast for each.
How do you
show.
tune in? Do you go to the Schmitz and Giggles website, or how do you tune in? Just go to Schmitz and Giggles. Okay.
Yeah, Schmitz and Giggles, and then you get the ticket there, and then it'll give you the private YouTube Schmitz and Giggles page to tune into. Yeah.
Now, have you done Ain't Tiny Reindeer like live before, or is this a debut? This is a debut.
Yeah, this is the debut. This is, I know. I'm pretty excited. Obviously, with it not being on stage, there's a little bit of but my technical director, Deliano Johnson, who I've just recently teamed up with,
he's awesome.
He's phenomenal. He showed me a little bit of what he's already done, and I'm like, oh man, this is so fun.
Yeah, way to go, because I couldn't afford him.
Oh, interesting. Well, maybe I can talk to him. I don't know. No, but he has just been phenomenal, and he's such a hard worker. Every time I'm reaching out to him, he's like, "Oh, I'm working on 3 other projects, but they're all quality. It's not like he's giving 30% to each one. He's giving 110 to each one, and I love it."
Yeah. Well, that actually talks about your platform. So because it's not live and in person, I can't go over to your house. Like, I can't stalk you. Sorry for all those times.
Yes, that's all.
So it's not a Zoom, it's not a whatever, it's not that, but it's filmed. So
yes.
talk about how you put it together.
Well, again, a lot of it was in the hands of Deliano because that's his world when it comes to how it's going to be edited and what kind, does he want it all together in pieces consecutively? And he's like, yeah, just film. And if there's a big mistake, just find a good spot to go back, whether it's a pause, an entrance, an exit, just look for a good point to go back to and then come back. And it was just kind of like a dress rehearsal, and it felt very dress rehearsal-ish.
Yes.
And tonight it's just going to feel like an opening night-ish.
Right.
It's already filmed and we're not as nervous. I guess that's one good thing about it is, the actors aren't going to be nervous to put on the show tonight because their work is done.
Their work is done.
Yeah.
Having done film myself recently, and of course we're working with the actors just like, we all work with the same 20 people. They're there. They're like, I've prepped. They do their take, and you're like, great, done.
Yep.
Like, but don't you need me to do this 12 more? No, we're good. We're good.
Yes. Yeah. I remember when I directed my first show and I was nervous. I talked to John McClay when I was working at First Stage, and any words of advice he could give me. And I remember the best advice he gave me was, if you cast your show right, 80% of the work is done.
Okay, yeah. And
it's so true because I'm not really giving them any notes. Everything they're doing, their instincts are all there. They get it, right? Like there's not a lot of, you're just not getting it. Because the 30 people involved, and they're all they're all able to understand what this is and where the serious moments are, where you kind of ham it up a little bit. Well,
you seem to be able to tap into a lot of talent that comes from the same place. So improv background, there are some people that I'm like, okay, it's a Schmitz and Giggles show. I know who's going to be there, who I'm going to fall in love with, and things like that. So, is it kind of a shortcut helpful to have folks with that similar background when you cast them, and you're like, okay, this is how I wrote it. This is what's in my mind. So, what does it usually influence their delivery to make it a little bit more simpatico?
Yes and no. I would say with this specific show, just because there's a lot more that was written for a reason moments, whether it's a clue or it's a mislead or whatever. Like they have to be a little bit more stronger to the script.
Yeah.
But like the Shakespeare kind of sortas, I mean, somebody like Beth Lewinsky, if she's going to go off in an improv moment, who am I to stop her? And especially if it's in the script where it just goes, improvise. I mean, she amongst others, just they've come up with such great stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, keep everything you just did for every show we do. So, but I mean, the improv background, just that mentality is also such a great thing that and let's just explore whatever. Let's try it. If it doesn't work, that's fine. So
yeah,
it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
It's interesting that that you do sort of a similar thing that Ron and I used to do when we were writing some original scripts for some casts that we've worked with over and over. It was, you get to that line and you're like, and then Beth does something fun.
Yes.
Just don't write it.
Yeah. Yep. And again, if there's ever a moment of I don't really know where to go with this, there's 4, 5, 6, 7 other people in the room who can also jump in, and so it's very collaborative that way too. So it's not everyone on their own island having their own spotlight moment. It's a lot of, what if we do this? What if we do this? So I never come to rehearsals thinking this is the final product of what I want on stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, with this, with it being a mystery though.
Yeah.
Have you done a lot of mysteries? Have you? This is it. This is your Agatha Christie moment.
Definitely a huge influence. Yes, absolutely. I mean, Rudolph the Pissed Off Reindeer, which was my first show in 2008, there was a little bit of like, a big shock at the end of like who was behind all of it. But you weren't trying to guess the whole time. That wasn't the point of it. It was just kind of a parody show. And then it happened to be that somebody was behind it all. So yeah, no, this is the first one where I've had to kind of piece a lot of stuff together, go back and redo it and sprinkle this in or take this out, whatever it might be. So
it sounds like a really cool project to have taken on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you had to elevator pitch 8 Tiny Reindeer, give it in a nutshell. What's the why do you have to tune in and see?
Okay. All right. Well, Santa Claus is dead. We start the show with the sleigh crash. That is not a surprise. Right. That's how we're starting with the show. Okay. There has been a crash in the mountains of New York, up in the Adirondack Mountains, and they're now in this cabin, and they start to realize this was no accident. Yeah, and reindeer are getting killed off one by one until we get down to who's responsible.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, there's your Scream influence as well.
Yes.
Anything that is killed off one by one, I'm a big fan of.
Yes, yeah. And even the show Survivor, when it first came out, I mean, it's got that same formula of people getting knocked out one by one. So love it. Yeah.
Which is a little insight into the Patrick Schmitz.
Yeah.
Gonna knock you off one at a time.
Yeah, well, maybe that comes from being part of a big family and being the youngest. So I got 9 older siblings, and as they turn 18, they're gone. One is gone. Now we're down to 9. Another one's gone. We're down to 8. So out of the 10 of us, eventually I was the only one left living at home. So I didn't even think of that. Wow.
So you changed your last name from Duggar to Smith.
Yes.
Moved to Milwaukee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many years have you been doing your original works? Because I've seen, every year for quite a while. I've been watching for the Schmitz and Giggles. What's going to be happening this year? So how long have you been doing this?
Well, I got to be careful with the word original, because the parody stuff, I mean, is that original? Kind of. But I've done a few original pieces in there, and definitely some tragedy pieces. But I've been doing this, again, Rudolph was my first one in 2008. And this is my 11th play that is being put out there. But I have 2 other plays that are written that are just kind of on the back burner waiting to be put up. Perhaps, in the near future, in the far future, I'm not sure. But
last year, was that the first year that that you had a play on this big, huge stage where you were in Vogel Hall?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
God, it was
so,
cool.
yes. They had reached out to me, and because I was teaching a workshop there through the rep, and the one of the guys, John Hessig, had just reached out and said, "Hey, would you be interested?" Blah blah blah. I was like, "Oh my God, these people know who I am!" Like, of course, yes. So, and I wasn't nervous about the show because, again, the cast, everything was there. Like, I knew they were going to put on a great performance. I was just nervous about numbers. I mean, it's a bigger house. It's probably almost 4 or 5 times bigger than I'm used to. So, but we did well. I mean, I thought with our numbers overall, we got around 630. So, I mean, we did well, I thought. For grassroots local theater, I think we did all right.
Yeah, very, very cool. Those are good numbers. Those are really good numbers. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, with the demise of The Alchemist, I know that you've moved over to Next Act for a lot of your stuff, right? Okay.
Yeah. Next Act, and then we were at the oh my God. In tandem space. Sorry, I always get because the ampersand. Just anyhow, yes, the in tandem space. We did our Mackers parody there, and then that following summer is when we moved over to Vogel Hall. So
So you've done a lot of Shakespeare parodies. So
yes.
what draws you to do? I mean, those are great. Those are ready.
Yeah. I think what drove me to it originally was because I was so terrified of Shakespeare's work for so long, and I needed to find a way to really dive into it. And I knew if I had some sort of investment with, like, all right, what can I do with this? It would give me a little bit more, I don't know, just a little bit more buy-in, I guess, because it's intimidating. You start reading it and you're like, what's going on? And you got to do your work. And it forced me to do the work. And now I know these beautiful stories. And as a high school drama teacher, I'm just that much more knowledgeable about these stories. So,
So do you teach Shakespeare in your class?
Yes and yes. I'm going to say yes. I don't go too deep into it, but like we did Romeo and Juliet, the actual show 2 years ago. And it was always kind of tradition that we did Hamlet. So yeah. I don't know why I was hesitating. Yes, absolutely we do. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It is intimidating. It is intimidating because immediately, it's this. As soon as you say yes, we do Shakespeare, people have this expectation of, oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? What makes you think you're allowed to do that?
Yep. Oh man, I mean, yes. Well, and again, even doing the parodies, I'm sure the Shakespeare diehard fans, I'm sure there was a lot of who is this guy? This guy who doesn't even know the works. Who does And it's like, oh, this is how I'm getting to know the works, and we're having a blast doing it. It's been a fun ride. So
it's kind of forced you to take a look at some of the material out there and see how you connect. So what was the first original piece you did?
That would be The Comedy Kid, which was it was about a kid who was a striving stand-up comedian, and he got involved with the wrong people. He got involved kind of mafioso type situation. I don't know. It was a coming of age story. There's my elevator pitch on that one.
12 when you
sure. But no, it was fun to just like kind of start from scratch and see what am I going to do with this. Another thing was back and forth was where I asked a series of questions to 75 performers in Milwaukee, and then took all of their answers and formed a play out of that. that was also something that it was original, but it wasn't, because I was using the voices of, you know, the performers. But to put it into a story form, I guess it was original in that sense.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, an original idea. And, you know, of course, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
What do you usually, I mean, do you reprise things every once in a while? It's like,
yeah, I mean, Rome and Juliet,
Yeah.
when we put that up at Vogel Hall, we had already done it at Next Act. I believe 5 years ago it had been put up. So we figured, well, if we're going to start at Vogel Hall, because they were interested in doing Hamlet as well, and that was canceled due to the COVID. So yeah, they were all about our shows, and I was actually supposed to do 8 Tiny Reindeer in their 3rd floor space. Like we formed a really good relationship there, and they wanted us to keep coming back, and they were really easy to work with. And obviously it's Vogel Hall, it's the Marcus, like it's a win-win on all levels there. But
I get it. And the people there are so welcoming and so they're like, I bet John Hastig has had improv training because he's like, yes, and let's do this thing.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And a great thing I liked about him is he knew when to, as much as to be involved, he knew when not to be involved and just kind of trust my process. Like, because we co-produced the show, and there were moments where he stepped in and took control. And then there were other moments where he's like, I trust you. Whatever you're doing, your script, you're this, you're that, I trust. So it was great that way. And I get, again, as an improviser, I think those skills play into that of knowing when to come into a scene, knowing when you're not needed in that scene. So
yeah. Do you ever act in your own stuff?
I do not.
It's practically impossible. It's a totally different skill set, which I don't believe anybody actually has, to act and direct at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, a few people have had to do it for Sketch 22, the guerrilla theater stuff I do twice a year. There's a few, if like an actor doesn't show up, a director kind of has to fill in both roles. And that's just a sketch. I can't imagine a whole show, but people who do it, kudos to them. That's a whole nother layer of stress that, I don't know if I would ever do it. I don't know.
Is your heart behind the scenes, or would you like to get on stage? Does it, do you ever have that like little inkling of be out there too?
A little, yes. And I don't know. I guess if I were to act in a show, I would want to bring in a director then. I wouldn't want to direct and act in it. Yeah. And I don't know if people would be comfortable directing a show where the writer is acting it. I don't know. I mean, it would take a special kind of person to want to do that, because if I was in that situation, I would be thinking, am I doing this right the whole time? Like, because now it's that person's vision and not the writer's vision. And, I got to keep my mouth quiet because this is now, or it's
That's why we only do stuff by dead guys.
Yes. You're very safe that way. Absolutely. Well, and the whatchamacallit, public domain, that also helps too. You don't have to worry about, even with the Rudolph parody, I was definitely worried that Golden Books Entertainment was going to come after me.
Oh my goodness.
So
flying under the radar.
Yeah. Especially when it got like sold to other theater companies. And then I'm thinking, oh geez, okay, this is definitely a bittersweet situation, because if I don't know,
sold to other theater companies, that's a big deal. That's a big step for a writer to take when somebody else wants to do your work too.
Yeah.
So what was that? How did that happen?
Well, so this was the Kenosha, the theater, the Roadhouse there, Roadie House. The artistic director came and saw the show in Milwaukee, and he was like, I want this at our space, and how do we make this happen? So they did it for 3 years at their space over there. So that was fun. Yeah. And like Rome and Juliet's been done at a few high schools, as well as out just recently it got done out in California as well. So, yeah, it's fun. It's definitely exciting to walk in and see somebody else's complete vision of something you had nothing to do with other than handing over the script.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I know we're way over our 20 minutes, and I'm sure you need to grab a sandwich.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, you eat a sandwich.
I don't know. So
Or you have to teach more kids all about theater and things.
yes,
So, yeah. But 8 Tiny Reindeer.
Yes.
Give me that plug. Give me that plug
Okay.
again for 8 Tiny Reindeer.
8 Tiny Reindeer. We open tonight, 7:30. Everything is online. You can watch the show from the comfort of your own house. Tickets are www.schmitzandgiggles.org. $10 tickets. You just get the YouTube link and you watch it from your own house. And that's tonight, 7:30, tomorrow, 2:00, and tomorrow at 7:30 as well. Different cast each night. So we got a total of 30 actors in our show. So
that's awesome. And I can tell you, Deliano did your editing. You've got some production values.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Congrats on getting that.
Thank you.
So
yes.
Super. I am excited. And I'm paying for a ticket. And I have
Nice. Thank you.
Support your local artists, especially people like Patrick Schmitz and Giggles. You have this niche in Milwaukee, and we need it. We need it. Support that. Pay your $10.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Yep. Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye. So that was Patrick Schmitz? Oh, I love that guy. There are, you meet some wonderful people in the theater community, and he is way high echelon. His heart is so big, and he's so bubbling with stuff and hope, and makes you feel good to be around him.
I mean, I was just sitting here thinking about the both of you and the work that you do with the younger audiences, and I thank you so much for that. I thank both of you so much for that, because it's needed, and it creates lifelong theater fans, at least we hope, for those of us who are doing the adulting type theater.
Right.
They grow into, they start off with Schmitz and Giggles, and they're like, dark things for 13 plus, and then they move on to the constructivists and watch things for the 18 plus.
Yeah. So we owe Patrick.
So I'm actually just being really selfish here.
Buy Patrick tickets.
Yeah.
We need to cast people that are twisted, and that will do it.
I need lifelong fans so that they can age into my system.
That's right. That's right. And it's you know what? It's funny because talking to Patrick, it's a good reminder that there are, I don't know any theater company that does not actually. Most theater companies have other programming that nobody knows about. The theater program. I mean, Optimist, it's Shakespeare in the Park. We have 4 other programs that we do.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about them, but that's okay. So, yes.
But that's what we're here for now, this You've Got a Thing, to let people know about all those programming choices that you have in all of Milwaukee land.
That's right.
Speaking of which, you see how I did that there?
You did
I just want to run over like a
reindeer
getting run over by a reindeer.
Wow. You gave away my cameo. That's okay.
But nobody knew that until you said that, Susan. To be fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just want to run through these. There's so much stuff going on right now. Like, speaking of Milwaukee being an awesome place with a ton of SHIT, Village Playhouse has through the end of the year here, through the 31st. Little Women. Who doesn't love Little Women? They're doing it as a radio show. And, obviously all things that we have are virtual. So go out and log into your computers from your own homes and view this stuff like whenever you want to. But this is the classic tale, coming of age tale from Village Playhouse, and you can find that at villageplayhouse.org. Let's see what else we have here. Milwaukee Opera Theater, Theatre, has their ongoing collaboration with the Decameron Opera, collaboration with the Decameron Opera Coalition, Tales from a Safe Distance. That's also through the end of the year. You can find that, of course, like 2 weeks in a row now. I didn't shut off my phone. I'm great. That's at Milwaukee Opera Theatre.org. Just beautiful vignettes of opera, and I know that Joanna posted something on their Facebook page about being getting a great shout out from a publication about all the great opera work that's being done by fringe theaters this year. So that's awesome. So our very own Milwaukee Opera Theatre here in Milwaukee. Skylight has a Patrick's backstage. He's saying goodbye. Bye, Patrick. We heart you. Gotta go back to teaching. Skylight has also, through the end of the year, they're being earnest, super fun, just bright, and enjoyable. It's based on Oscar Wilde's Importance of Being Earnest, but it's like 1960s Austin Powers, with great talent, beautiful singers, just very enjoyable. But they also have, they were here last week to talk about Skylight Sings. Mr. Unger and Mr. Bonifilio were here to talk about that. That's going to go all the way through January 10th. And local talent singing beautifully, what Skylight Music Theater does. And you can find that at skylightmusictheater.org. And then, elsewhere in the community, these of course are our Theater Alliance companies, but there's also elsewhere in the community, Milwaukee Chamber Theater Season's Greetings through January 3rd. Milwaukee Rep has 2 versions of A Christmas Carol. Next Acts, The Christians, that's that is actually over with. That ended last week. Pope. But Renaissance Theater has their belonging, their 3 playwrights through the 20th. So that's through the end of this weekend. And then also, I missed, because normally, Imagine MKE allows us to borrow their technology, this fancy schmancy stuff where we can show comments and things. But today I reached out because Mr. Unger, Michael Unger, the artistic director of Skylight Music Theater, has been, they've been our guest a couple times now. They also use this wonderful technology. So I just wanted to give them a shout out because he's working on a virtual Christmas Carol. This company that he works with, which is New Arts, it's out in Newtown, Connecticut. And so he works with kids out there, producing theater for them. And he's been doing this virtually now. But it's a nonprofit. It's the 1214 Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to fostering the well-being in children and instilling grit and resilience through a character development program coupled with high-level mastery experiences. Just working with kids to use that empathy that we talk about with live theater so much. And then people like Michael Unger work with them to provide these great experiences of, really professional experiences that they can take with them and hopefully, again, keep them in the system. Or me. You all got to know this is all about me. But yeah, you can find all, Skylight is a Theater Alliance company, as well as Optimus, Milwaukee Opera Theater, Village Playhouse. All of these theaters you can find at MilwaukeeTheaterAlliance.org. We do our best here to keep getting the word out. Such wonderful things. It blows my mind, when I make these lists, just the work that's going on through all this adversity. Because
it's there. Just get online. You're going to find it. You are going to find it. You can get your fix.
Such great uplifting stuff today, or that you can find today through this. I'm totally watching I'm totally watching Tiny Reindeer, because I love Schmitz and Giggles. I just, man, that R&J this summer. I can't wait until this is all over and I can see it live.
Right.
But I'm excited. You talked up that editor. I'm excited to talk.
Giuliano Johnson is pretty amazing editor, and I totally could not afford him. But, so I'm a little jealous, but yeah. Look for some production values there. That's just that'll be beautiful.
Awesome. And again, no holds barred.
Thank you.
January 13th. Thank you again for hosting again.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Love you lots. And thank you all out there again for showing up and listening. And if you have events, let us know. But otherwise, we are going to take next week off. I have been convinced to make that happen. But then the final week, I signed up the Constructivists to come and talk about our next thing coming up in January, which actually is going to be the day after your thing. So our Under Construction series, we've got that in the works, which is where we playwrights submit their work, the deep, dark, dirty stuff that we think is important, and we need to get new playwrights out into the community. That I haven't released all the information in there because they're still kind of getting actors together and things, but but hopefully Mr. Schmitz will come back and host. Otherwise, I might hit you up again, Susan. Again, thank you all out there. Watch some theater, enjoy it, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. And You've Got a Thing!